Hey everybody, and a massive welcome back to LexTalk, exploring English and linguistics right here in Thailand.
Great to be back.
We are absolutely buzzing to be kicking off Season 4, Episode 5 with you all.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Today we're plunging into a topic that, well, we think is super important and relevant for anyone involved in English language learning.
Definitely. Whether you're a teacher, a parent, maybe just fascinated by how we learn languages.
Exactly, especially here in the vibrant educational landscape of Thailand.
That's right. In this deep dive, we're going to be exploring blended learning.
Blended learning.
Think of it as strategically mixing the tried and true methods of face-to-face teaching
Right, the traditional classroom stuff.
with the incredible potential of digital tools to really, supercharge how we learn English.
Exactly. Now, for those of you who might be hearing the term for the first time, blended learning at its core is about taking the best bits of in-person instruction and cleverly weaving in online or digital elements. It's about moving beyond just textbooks and lectures.
Yeah, it's about thoughtfully incorporating things like language learning apps, online videos, interactive platforms, integrating them into the learning journey.
Right.
What's fascinating here is the sheer flexibility this offers. It's not like a rigid formula.
Okay.
Some of this learning can happen simultaneously. That's synchronous learning, like a live online class, everyone interacting together.
in real time.
But a
Yeah.
big part can also be asynchronous, meaning learners engage with the material whenever, wherever suits them best.
Ah, like catching up on a video lesson or doing an online quiz in their own time.
Exactly. Think of our LexTalk deep dives. You can listen live or catch up later. That's asynchronous engagement.
Good example. To really bring this to life, imagine a Thai English teacher leading a lively conversation practice in class.
Okay.
Maybe students are role-playing ordering food, something like that. Then, for homework, that same teacher assigns a short, engaging video breaking down a tricky grammar point that came up. That's blended learning in action, folks.
It's that intentional combination that can be so powerful. Right.
And before we dive deeper into the nuts and bolts, just a quick reminder. Make sure you're following LexTalk on all your favorite platforms.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
You can find us on our website, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Just search for @LexTalk Podcast. That's LEXTALK Podcast.
We'd absolutely love to connect with you there and hear what you think.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's really get into the heart of it. Why is this blended approach potentially, well, game-changing, particularly for English language teaching? What makes this mix of classroom learning and digital tools so effective?
Well, if we think about how we actually learn, right? Blended learning taps into a wider range of learning preferences.
Okay.
It takes the structure and direct support from the classroom, that crucial human connection, and combines it with the adaptability and, well, the richness digital resources offer.
Right. In the physical classroom, you have that immediate back and forth.
Exactly. With your teacher, your classmates, those spontaneous discussions, asking for clarification right then and there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's something irreplaceable about that live interaction, isn't there?
I know.
Especially for speaking and listening skills group tasks.
And getting that immediate feedback.
Yes, from your teacher's expertise.
Yeah.
Plus, in class, you can really bring in the cultural context of language in a way that's harder to replicate online sometimes.
Exactly. But then you introduce the digital element, and suddenly you've got access to this huge library of materials.
Yeah.
Materials that can cater to different learning styles in really powerful ways. Someone visual might love an animated grammar explanation,
Right.
while an auditory learner can immerse themselves in podcasts or songs. And for kinesthetic learners, those interactive online exercises can be incredibly engaging.
And here's where it gets really interesting for the learner. Blended learning can really put you in the driving seat, you know?
More autonomy.
Yeah. You can go back, review stuff you found tricky, repeat exercises until you feel confident, explore topics that spark your curiosity, all at your own pace.
It fosters more independent, self-directed learning.
So this raises an important question, though. Does this flexible approach actually lead to better learning outcomes?
The million-dollar question. And the evidence from quite a lot of research actually suggests that it often does.
Really?
Yeah, studies have indicated that well-designed blended learning can lead to improved retention of information and, importantly, higher engagement from students compared to purely traditional teaching.
Okay, so it sounds like this blended approach offers some really compelling advantages.
Yeah.
But what are the key ingredients for making it work well? It's not just about throwing a few online quizzes in, is it?
You're spot on. No, it's much more considered than that. Let's unpack some essential elements. First off, we can't underestimate the continued importance of that dedicated in-person learning.
Right, the face-to-face time.
As we touched on, the physical classroom remains vital for those crucial speaking and listening practice opportunities.
Definitely. And it's where you can really nurture those dynamic group activities, role-playing scenarios, all the things requiring direct human interaction and immediate responses.
And that on-the-spot error correction from the teacher.
So crucial.
And weaving in those important cultural understandings. That classroom dynamic is still key.
Okay.
Now, flipping to the other side, the digital learning component brings its own unique strengths. Think about the sheer variety of digital tools now.
So many options.
Vocabulary apps like Quizlet, for instance, make learning new words much more interactive, maybe even fun.
Right.
Platforms like Google Forms or dedicated learning management systems and LMS allow for structured grammar practice, even automated feedback on certain exercises.
Oh, wow. Instant feedback. That's powerful.
It really is.
And let's not forget the vast array of readily available resources like YouTube videos explaining concepts, language learning podcasts you can listen to anywhere, even simple voice recording tools to practice pronunciation and speaking outside class. The digital world opens up a treasure trove for language exposure.
But the real magic happens when you think carefully about the integration strategy.
How they work together.
Exactly. It's not about treating them as separate things, but how they complement and reinforce each other. For instance, going back to our earlier example, you might use the digital component for preparation before class. Students watch a short video introducing key vocab or grammar.
Okay.
So they come to the face-to-face session ready to actively use that knowledge.
Or you could leverage digital tools for reinforcement after a class, right?
Precisely. Assigning online exercises to practice what was covered, providing extra reading, links to explore topics further at their own pace.
Assessment too, I guess.
Absolutely. Assessment is another key area. Online quizzes give instant results. Platforms allow submission of written or spoken assignments. Lots of possibilities.
Okay.
What's absolutely key here is consistency. What's taught and practiced in class needs to align with the online activities.
Makes sense.
And perhaps most importantly, educators need to clearly communicate the schedule, expectations, and how all these different pieces fit together for the learners. No confusion.
Clarity is crucial. Can you give us another practical example? How might this integration look in a classroom here in Thailand?
Sure. Let's say students in a face-to-face class are learning about giving directions.
Go ahead.
The teacher might start with a group activity, students practicing giving directions around the school. Then, for digital learning, the teacher assigns the task using Google Maps.
Real-world application.
Exactly. Find a route to a local landmark, write clear directions in English, then maybe record themselves giving those directions using a voice note app and submit it online.
I see. So it blends the interactive classroom practice with digital application and a speaking assessment.
Precisely. That's the integration.
That paints a really clear picture.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've looked at why blended learning is effective, some core components. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Practical tools.
Right.
What tools can educators here in Thailand and elsewhere actually start using in their ESL classrooms? What comes to mind?
Well, there are some fantastic options, often quite accessible too, for managing assignments, collecting work, giving feedback digitally. Platforms like Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams are incredibly useful.
And often already available in schools, right?
Often, yes.
Yeah.
Then for injecting some fun and interactivity, especially for vocab review or quick checks.
Gamification.
Exactly. Tools like Kahoot, Quizzes, BlueKit. They offer gamified learning experiences, really boosts motivation.
Yeah, who doesn't love a bit of friendly competition?
Right. Then, for more open-ended discussions or collaborative brainstorming, you might explore Padlet or Jamboard.
Digital whiteboards.
Kind of, yeah. Students can share ideas, contribute to mind maps, ask questions, even anonymously during or outside class.
Interesting. And for listening practice outside of class.
Oh, there's a wealth of resources. YouTube channels for English learners, platforms like LingQ focusing on comprehensible input.
BBC Learning English, too.
Definitely. BBC Learning English offers a huge range of engaging content. Loads of options for out-of-class listening.
Okay, lots of tools.
But what's really important to remember with all these exciting options is to keep things manageable.
Don't overdo it.
Exactly. It's tempting to try every new shiny tool, but overloading learners with too many platforms, it can be counterproductive, confusing, frustrating.
Right.
It's often much more effective to focus on mastering just one or two core tools and using them really well. Start simple.
That's such crucial advice. Keep it simple. Now, as with any teaching approach, there are bound to be challenges, right?
Oh, absolutely. No silver bullet.
What are some common hurdles educators might face when implementing blended learning?
One of the most significant challenges often is the digital divide.
Right, access.
Not all students have the same level of access to reliable internet or even their own devices. This can create inequalities if we're not careful.
That's a really important point, especially in diverse contexts like many parts of Thailand. What else?
Another potential hurdle could be, well, teacher training and confidence.
Comfort level with the tech.
Exactly. Not all educators may feel entirely comfortable or skilled in navigating these digital tools effectively. It can be daunting.
I can see that. And time. Does it take more time?
That's right. The practicalities of time management can be a real concern. Designing and managing both in-person and online activities can feel like a significant increase in workload, initially at least.
So these are very real challenges. What about solutions? Practical steps to address them.
Okay, for the digital divide, a key strategy is always considering offline alternatives.
Like what?
Downloadable materials students can access without constant internet, maybe printed resources or activities using low-tech methods. Flexibility is key.
Right. And building teacher confidence.
Encourage starting small. That's really effective. Instead of a complete overhaul overnight, focus on integrating just one or two core digital tools they feel comfortable with.
Baby steps.
Exactly. And build from there. Professional development, peer support networks where teachers collaborate and share experiences, that's incredibly valuable too.
Learning from each other.
Absolutely. And for workload management, encouraging reflective practices helps. Evaluating what works best for them and their students lets teachers find efficient ways to integrate tech without feeling overwhelmed.
So planning and reflection.
Yes, planning is key. And remember, while there's initial effort in setup, blended activities can often streamline certain aspects of teaching and learning long term.
Okay. This has been such an incredibly insightful deep dive into blended learning. To bring it all together, what's the main takeaway for our listeners today?
The core message, I think, is that blended learning isn't just about adding technology for its own sake.
Right, not tech for tech's sake.
It's about intentionally, strategically, using digital tools to support and enhance the valuable learning already happening in the classroom. It's finding that sweet spot.
Where traditional teaching and digital innovation work together.
Precisely. Harmoniously, to create richer, more engaging, and ultimately more effective learning experiences for everyone.
That's a fantastic summary. And for all of you tuning in, remember, even small changes, maybe assigning a relevant video for homework, trying a quick online quiz. These small steps can have a surprisingly big impact on how students connect with and learn English.
Absolutely. Which leaves us with a final thought to ponder. As technology continues its rapid evolution, how will our understanding and application of blended learning need to adapt? How do we ensure we're always using the most effective tools and strategies for our language learners?
A question to keep exploring.
Definitely. Something we'll all need to keep considering as we move forward.
Valuable food for thought indeed. Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive into blended learning. A huge thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Always great to talk about this.
And don't forget to follow LexTalk on all our platforms. Our website, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Find us at LexTalk Podcast. Host, speaker, and expert speaker. Let's talk. Let's learn. Let's LexTalk.